Welcome back to JSX. Today we have another episode of
What games we're playing.
And today we got some more Halloween kind of games, some creepier games, you know, it's the season for it. So I think today we're going to start with you. You've been playing Days Gone.
Yes, I have.
So tell us a little bit about that.
First off, it really does remind me of a Red Dead Redemption on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah,
I've had a
really
lot of
fun.
fun with the game. I mean, I didn't play it when it first came out for some reason. I remember seeing it, I think it was an E3 a couple years ago where they had that trailer where you
Yeah, it was a
chased
really,
and just
really cool
hordes
trailer.
and hordes are going. And that caught my attention. A couple of years passed and then I'm like, forgot about it. But when it came out, I was playing a bunch of other things, but I recently just finished playing it. It is, it's good. I mean, it's a third-person, open-world survival horror type game. The map is good. Takes place in Oregon. Basically, the story goes: there was a pandemic, and civilization has completely collapsed, and a majority of the population have turned into these things called freakers, which are zombie-like, but they're not. They're kind of more. I don't know. They kind of remind me more of 28 Days Later type things. The infected are just violently crazy, and they're cool. I mean, I spent more time actually hunting them down and looking for their nests because I found that to be a lot of fun. But you have to use things in it. I mean, you get weapons, obviously. You can craft them, upgrade them, use melee weapons. You can use stealth in the game. And it really is just like your typical open world game. You have your objectives. You go do your objectives. My only qualm with it is sometimes you have to travel for far distances. Lots of time. You know, which is why I compare it to Red Dead Redemption 2 because good game, but there's so much traveling. But I mean, all in all, it's a good game. Like, I actually like the main character. You play as this guy Deacon. He's a bounty hunter, and I don't really want to ruin the story for you guys, but yeah, you basically progress with his story, going through camps and stuff like that, taking on bounties, taking on missions, learning shit as you go along about the whole outcome, where your wife is, your best buddy. Just stuff like that. Like, it's kind of, it's not an in-depth story, I didn't find, but it was enough to keep you kind of going. But the game does have some really cool features to it. I really enjoyed the graphics. I thought they were great graphics.
Yeah, it was very pretty.
The weather is amazing in it. Like, even when you're riding your bike and it's raining, you can feel it. Yeah, it's more difficult, obviously. Like, you're slipping a little bit, and it's nice you feel that in a game. Especially, you know, even just seeing, like, the sun sometimes come through the trees. But I like the fact, again, with a lot of games where they have a night-day cycle, that you do have, for people like me, or people even like yourself, daytime is safer. Yeah. And like the zombies, they're slower. The freakers, they're slower. They're not as aggressive. But come nighttime, man, they chase you all over the place. Yeah. And I kind of liked it for that. Like, I really enjoyed that part of it. I mean, I would recommend it to anybody to play. I thought I had a lot of fun playing it. The exploration's great. I mean, you're finding things, that little twists as the story goes. And even for me, I'm not a stealth style player, but the stealth in the game was good enough and not overused enough where it became fun. Yeah. You know, like, there were parts where it was like, oh, you gotta sneak up behind this enemy. And it's not a freaker, it's something else. And it's a whole section where you're going through. And it didn't seem tedious. It actually kind of... It kept you on your toes when you were playing.
Yeah, I played Days Gone for not too long, got about 10 hours in, but I had my fun with it. It was fun driving around, killing all the freaks.
The hordes.
The hordes were definitely fun, and fighting the nests. I had a lot of fun taking those out.
Like, that's what I basically just drove around wanting to do and trying to reenact that scene from the E3 trailer. Right? I want this 1,000 zombies coming at me and me just sitting there with my machine gun going brrrr. And for me, I mean, that made the game for me. You know, everything else about it, I mean, again, open world games tend to have their ups and downs, the stories, you know, there's so many side quests and you can do and this and that. But when a game comes where you're spending most of your time traveling, you kind of don't want to do as many of the side quests because you're literally traveling everywhere. Yeah. Right? Which is, again, for some people, exploring and stuff like that is fun. But I just found that my free exploration was a lot more fun than the actual side missions I was playing. But that's nothing to be said because even when I play GTA, I prefer just driving around doing my own thing rather than doing actual missions. So, kind of had that same feel with this. Definitely think it's worth the money to go play, especially now. definitely think it's great for the Halloween season. I mean, it's a world that's infected, a world that's infected with these
Your post-apocalyptic world.
with these violent creatures, and even you see like sort of the humans. They're slowly like degrading themselves down to try and survive. You know, with cannibalism, this and that. It's a really cool game. Like I really do enjoy that. Did enjoy my time with it, and I may even run through it again because I did miss some things from the first run, and it was worth enough for me to invest more time in it because I did have a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah. So I've been playing some Subnautica.
Nice.
I've played that before. It's always been a game that I've liked. I want to play the new Subnautica that came out. They had the underwater, I think it's called Below Zero. And it's all about like, it's the same world, same idea, you know, all these new creatures, and it's in like an icy area, and you have more human contact, which was kind of interesting. In the base Subnautica, you don't have any human contact. You're just stranded alone on an alien planet filled with water.
Still blew my mind.
Right? Yeah. He thought Subnautica was almost like Abzu, little cute exploration game.
Completely.
And then I showed him a bit of it, and he saw like the alien guns and like some of the giant creatures coming at you in the alien research centers. And there's just so many different levels to this game. So on the surface, it really is just a cute little survival game. You're getting food, you're building your little base.
Yeah.
And then you get your little sea moth, and you get brave, so you go a little deeper, and you just start seeing crazy stuff. You'll just be going like down late at night in the game. You're just looking straight down into the water. You can't see anything, right?
Yeah.
It's just darkness. And then you'll see like a little glowing something, and it'll move, and you're like, "What was that?" Right? And it'll freak you out. That's all you're gonna think about for the next like 20 minutes is that little glowing thing. Like, where is it? What was that? Right?
I want to see this thing.
And it's freaky, and there's like super elaborate cave systems, and like there's islands that you can go to, and there's little research centers on them.
You talked about it before, and it caught my interest. Like I saw you play a little bit of it, and I may jump into it. Like it did.
It's a pretty game too. It's very pretty.
I couldn't believe I was totally wrong about what it was about still. So
yeah, I still remember the first time that I had one of these Reaper Leviathans come out of nowhere, just destroy my submarine. I'm like, what the hell is going on, right?
Yeah.
Terrifies you. You're just alone in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah. I definitely do want to try that out. Though,
yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out.
It caught me after you explained it, and I was wrong. I really was wrong about it. I thought it was a fun kids game, like a little relaxing game, and then I find out that no, it's not. It's
I'm scared of the water to begin with, like the scared of the ocean and water, so it just ramps up to 11 for me. But I love that game. It's so much fun.
Nice.
So you've been playing Last of Us 2?
Yeah, I went back and played Last of Us 2 again because I felt after I played Death Stranding about a month ago for the second time, and I had mixed opinions on it, and I still do. Last of Us 2, the same. I had very mixed opinions on it.
Yeah.
Not good and bad, but I mean, to me it is what it is. I just thought
it at all.
That's the thing. I thought that the gameplay, it's great. I mean, it's the story picks up 5 years after the original. It really is a story just about revenge, basically, with Ellie. She suffers a tragedy and she's pissed off.
Yeah.
And she shows it as you progress throughout the game. But it did kind of catch me a little bit off guard. Like, again, I don't want to ruin spoilers because I know Joey really wants to play it still and just hasn't gotten to it. But, you know, you play as kind of three people throughout the entire experience. You play as Joel, Ellie, and Abby. It's a new character that's been added. There are parts of this game that I think are phenomenal. I mean, like, when I mean phenomenal, I mean completely edge of your seat going, wow. I'm a fan of violence in video games.
Yeah.
This game is very violent. And I think it's the perfect amount of violence that the perfect pinch of salt to a recipe. It is. It's gruesome. It's ruthless. It's all these things. And anybody knows from the first one, it's society's collapsed basically again. They're starting to rebuild. They're still infected. You're playing throughout like a post-apocalyptic Seattle, and you know you're riding your horse, and it's like desolate, but there's trees of overgrown and greenery throughout the buildings, and you're exploring buildings, and there's vacant except for infected. That part is amazing.
Yeah.
It's just, there was a lot of controversy about the story, and people like it or hate it.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the story is part of that game. I just don't know if I like the story.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where I will literally tell anybody, play that game. Try it once. It doesn't matter what your opinion is, try it. It's a masterpiece in every other way.
Yeah.
Like, if unless you're like a hardcore into Last of Us 1, the story, you don't even have to play Last of Us 1 to enjoy this game. That's how much I think this game's gameplay is just phenomenal, with upgrading your weapons. Still the same concepts, you can like throw a bottle to lure guys away from you, because you're not just fighting infected, you're also fighting human factions.
Yeah. There's
other like enemies around that you got to deal with. But when you get so immersed into something, it is just amazing. But there's parts in this game that you're so immersed and it pulls you out.
Yeah.
And then you get so immersed again. But it happens so frequently that you're like, it's that constant up and down roller coaster. Yeah. But that's the story. But for me, the gameplay was so amazing that it led me through it.
Yeah.
And on my second time playing through, you know what? Sorry for a second. What it reminds me of is the Silent Hill movie. Here's my analogy to it. The Silent Hill movie is a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
If you play it on mute.
Yeah.
And that's what this game reminds me of. If you take out certain parts of that story, this is easily one of the best games ever made. Mm-hmm. But it's got these parts that they just so force you into that it's like, okay, I get it. But I've had enough of this constantly being thrown on my shoulders about the same things over and over. Mm-hmm. Let's just progress with the intensity that we have and not pull us back every little bit.
Yeah.
It's weird. I can't explain it until you play it, and then you'll probably understand what I mean by it. Phenomenal game. 100% a phenomenal game. Great for this time of year because there are jump scares in it. There are things that you're just... One of my favorite scenes in it is literally you're basically running in the woods or through a factory, and after you go part in the woods in the snow, and there's just infected all around you.
Yeah.
And you're just running by them all. They're jumping at you. They're coming off of the... It's insane. But there is so much of that, and then following that, it's something that just doesn't fit to keep that intensity.
Yeah.
So there's one of those games where I've said the gameplay is amazing, the story pulls you out of it to sometimes. Like, I get why people like it, but it doesn't keep the flow going to that, oh my god, edge of your seat.
Yeah, okay.
I know I went on a ramble there, but it's really hard to explain unless you've played it, what I mean.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
You have to, because it is honestly one of the best games I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I enjoyed the first one. I love the first one.
The first one's amazing. This one just takes that brutality, takes Ellie and her vengeance, and just rockets past everything. Like, she's pissed. And she has no problem showing it. And I said, with like all the effects they use in it, this and that, like, you do what you want. You're trying to sneak through an encampment someplace. You go and shoot some guy in the leg. He's screaming.
Yeah. And
then you hear these screams as you're still sneaking through, and you're drawing the other enemies towards him first before they find you. So you got to come up with ways. It's insane.
Yeah.
And that's what made it. It's everything in this game, visually and the sound of this game, are phenomenal. The sound effects are brilliant. So I've really enjoyed my time playing it. It's just unfortunate again that I just can't decide if I like the story or don't like the story. But I mean, I've played it twice, so obviously it says something.
Yeah.
And I know you've been playing an amazing game that I've wanted to get into for so long because it has so many great characters in it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do it. I still haven't been able to do it. Like, I want to play it so bad.
Yeah.
Because you could play as Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, you can play as Ash.
Yeah, it's Dead by Daylight. I've loved this game since pretty much it came out. They constantly add all these new characters, licensed killers, right? So you got Amanda from Saw, you have Michael Myers, yeah, you have Ash
Leatherface
as a survivor, right? Yeah, Leatherface, yeah. And it's just fun. Like, it's not necessarily a scary game. It definitely has terrifying moments. Like, there's times when you're shaking, right? But it's more about the competitive tension. Yeah, the adrenaline. You're trying to like run away from this killer, buy time for your friends, right? It's a lot of fun just sitting down playing with your friends. You know, someone puts Michael Myers on. You're just Halloween, it's fun, right? You're stalking your friends or killing them. It's an amazing game, and they have tons of Halloween events. There's constant updates and events going
The
on.
only thing that I didn't like about it when I was watching you play it, and I believe I did play a couple rounds of it when it first got launched on Xbox One. It throws you off because you're third person when you're a survivor, but first person when the killer. And it's like, damn it. I understand why they did it.
Yeah.
It's a disadvantage so you can dart around better, but it's like, you know, I want to see myself be Michael Myers with a knife in your stalking, you know, and coming, you know, stabbing you. I want to see Freddy like scurrying across and slicing you with his glove. I want to see Leatherface lift a chainsaw up and over his head and be like, rah, as he's cutting you. So that's the only thing I kind of wish, but I love the cast of characters. I really do love the cast of characters, and even the concept. It's, you know what? Yeah, they're killers. They're supernatural. They're gonna kick your ass if, you know, you come near them.
Yeah, you gotta be smart, right? It's all the game is, right? It's about thinking, communicating with your friends, and trying to plan your way to escape.
I remember when Friday the 13th, the game came out.
Yeah.
The first 2 week maybe, that was fun until everybody found out how to kill Jason fast.
Yeah.
And then it just completely ruined that game. That's why I like how Dead by Daylight, they don't really have that.
No, as a survivor, you're practically defenseless.
Like you can stun you
can stun with a flashlight. You can blind them,
which is cool, but you can't stop them.
No,
which
they're
I think is
constantly coming at you. Like you can throw down like boards and stuff when you're being chased to try to slow them down. You can jump out windows and stuff. And they're a bit slower getting over the boards or breaking them or climbing through a window, right? The killers are a lot bigger. But yeah, like you're still in that very intense chase, and you gotta outsmart the killer to get away. You can't outrun him.
See, that's what I like. Now, my only problem with Friday the 13th is they didn't have that. It's like you got Jason Voorhees. He's died how many times? He just keeps coming back. But then as soon as somebody found out how to do it, everybody knew. And then the game just got completely boring.
Yeah.
Because there was no fun playing as a killer. Which is why, again, drew me back to Dead by Daylight 4. It's just I've never had the time to sit down and really enjoy it. But I've seen you play it. I've watched the videos on it. And that is totally my cup of tea game. And I don't play it.
It's honestly, it's just fun. Even just grinding levels, because what you're doing is you're essentially leveling up your characters to get them new skills and perks and stuff. It'll give you a little bit of an advantage in the game. And you can get all kinds of stuff like keys to unlock secret exits, and you can get flashlights to help protect you against the killer.
Well, I just
maps.
I like the intricacy of the strategy of both sides.
Yeah.
Like the killer, put them on the hook, bait your other partners out.
Exactly.
Like
right?
for the other players to come for them and then do what you want to do. Or even on the victim side or the survivor side. Do we let that person just sit there because you know the killer's going to be close? Will you guys do everything? I love that. I love that strategy in the game.
There's so many little tricks and strategies that people use, and there's so many things you have to focus on.
You know what? I'm going to have to play Dead by Daylight tonight.
I think you should.
I am.
You should play with me.
Yeah, I'm going to have to jump on tonight and literally play.
Yeah, it's an amazing game. I suggest you guys all play it. They have so many different killers, so many DLCs, so much variety. Even without buying DLCs, you still have like 7 killers, right? All very unique with their own skills and perks and stuff. And as you start leveling up, all of your perks and stuff start getting intertwined. And you can make some really, really cool builds, right? And it's a whole bunch of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna try to play it tonight because it screams me again.
And like the seasonal events, there's events going on every week or so, right? They're constantly bringing new stuff out, new cosmetics and stuff like that, new challenges. And it's a great community. The community itself is just very nice, very helpful. They just enjoy playing, right?
It's always important. So speaking of events, have you been playing any Halloween events last week?
I was going to play the Hellpoint Halloween event, but I know that's your forte. Hellpoint's your game right now.
It gave me reason to jump back into Hellpoint. I love Hellpoint. I think it's a phenomenal game. I mean, I had one issue with it, but that's been discussed.
Yeah.
Jumped into it when it launched out, the Halloween special.
Oh yeah.
You know what? You never have those things where it's like very little is always good. Like the less you see, the more scary something is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It really is. It's a very subtle. Like you have your enemies, they'll have a jack-o'-lantern head on, or they'll have like a clown face mask on, or whatever it be. Something like they're dressed up.
Yeah.
But it gave me reason to come back and play this amazing game. Like it's amazing. So the event's very simple. Enemies have masks. They're dressed up a little bit. They have little things like that going on. But you're running around looking for candy.
Okay.
And then you go all the way back and you find where you got to put them, which is a special area where there's UFO, and you can craft your own like new armor sets for a Halloween themed, devil mask, a clown mask, or silly eyes, stuff like that, and new weapons. Some of them are actually pretty decent. I don't want to ruin it for people because everyone's got their own. It's like Demon Souls and Dark Souls, and everyone likes their own weapons, so there's no point saying, hey, this is the best weapon. But you know what? It's fun. It is fun. It's a nice little grind to get all these candies together and go pick up these new weapons and new armor, new suits. And it definitely gave a good reason to come back and play it again. And I said the little subtleties as you're walking by, and your enemies now have jack-o'-lanterns on their head, or the Reaper guys will have like a clown mask on with a big red nose. Like it's fun. It is fun, and I definitely it's not a DLC. It's a season event.
Yeah, it's a free
event. Run
in,
in, try it out. I've had a blast playing it for the past 6 hours today, and I played a few hours yesterday too. And I'm still gonna probably play it. It's available from the 26th of November till November 2nd. Check it out, man. It is a lot of fun, and it's a good reason to come back and play this game. It really is. It really is for
I'll have to go check that out. I suggest you guys go check that out as well. It sounds really cool.
It is. It's a lot of fun. Any reason to come back to a game is always good. Especially on Halloween. I wish I would have gotten into other events.
The Halloween events, because I heard the Red Dead Redemption had the Halloween event.
Yeah, we were gonna play
which
that.
I haven't looked into yet. I've heard some mixed reviews on it.
Yep.
Bit skeptical to get into it, but I'm sure we'll get a video out about that. Borderlands, they always like to do their everything event, right? Yep. They have a million events. We're going to be doing looking into that soon.
Looking into that. I mean, we're also getting ready for our final episode of the October Fright Fest month.
Yeah. Which
is next week. Well, it'll be this week, but next week. So it'll be on Halloween and when we have our last episode put out. There's some good games we've both been playing on that one too.
Oh yeah.
So that's about all for this week of what I've been playing. And I don't know if you've been playing
that's
else.
it.
But if you like this video, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe down below. Yeah. Check us out next week on our final episode for our Halloween October Fright Fest special. And have a good one, guys.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.